In this lesson, you will learn about story of the one Pinbar candles and one volume. So let's get started. The first one, you already learned about the story behind of the Pinbar candle. That is a fight, that is a word to decide the next movement. Behind the one Pinbar candle, we have a strong buying pressure and medium selling pressure. For example, is the up Pinbar candles. Therefore, on the volumes, or you also call like the efforts, you also need the high efforts or high volumes for the up Pinbar candles or down Pinbar candle also. And I also call the Pinbar candle with the high volume is a real Pinbar candles, and the Pinbar candle with the low volume is a fake Pinbar candle, because on this Pinbar candle you see that the buyer and the seller already join into the market and want to cover together to decide the next movement. Therefore, in the Pinbar candle must have high volume to see how the buyer and the seller strong at these levels. And when the buyer can cover the strongest sellers in the market, it means that now the buyer is obviously stronger than seller, and the next movement will be the up movement. In the low volume, it means that at this time the buyer just use very less the buying pressure can cover the seller. It means that cannot make sure that now the strongest seller already be covered, and therefore you cannot know exactly whether the seller can risk and sell in the higher price. Therefore it's very risky, and that is not good as an entry with the Pinbar have no volumes. And for the Pinbar candle with the high volume, you can see that that is a big word, and the buyer and the Pinbar with the low volume is a small word or the retest. And for this case, you need to check in the lower time frame. With the theory is a volume in a way I will teach you very carefully in the next lessons. So in this lesson, you just need to remember you only focused on the Pinbar candle with a high volume to entry. That is a good Pinbar candles, and I will explain more about why you need to care about the Pinbar candle with high volume. And you can see here is the structure of the market for the up movement. We have the high high and high low, and we also have here is strongest demand zone in the market. My trading strategies I already just in the first course about the commodity cost about the forex markets. Here is strongest demand zone. If price can pull back and break this strongest demand zone, it means that price already changed from the up movement to down movement. In the Pinbar candle, also the same theory like this. If the buying pressures can cover strongest selling pressure, it means that now the up movement still continues, and the Pinbar candle with a high volume is a good Pinbar candle to entries. So let's jump on some example to fully understand about this Pinbar candle. The first one, here we have the Bitcoin USDT on the daily time frame. On the time is 20 and 17. So let's see from the left side to the right side what we have in this chart. The first one we have here is structure of the market. Higher high and higher low. It means that now is up movement. And we also have that here is strongest demand zone in the market. If the price still above this demand zone, it means that now the up movement still continues. And if price can break this demand zone, it means that now the up movement change into the down movement. And we also see that this strong demand zone created by the one Pinbar candles with a high volume. This is a very strong signal to entry at this demand zone. So let's see what happened in the market. And you can see that the markets come and retest the first time into this demand zone, and here is the second time into this strong demand zone. And on every time the markets come and retest at this time, you can see the market creates the pattern very beautifully. But at the first time, I still not entry, because you can see at this time the engulfing pattern is very weak because the up candle is very small. But on the second time, you see very obviously that the last down candle has a long tail below, and the first up candle is very strong and can cover almost the last down candles. And if you compare the volume of two candles, you may ask me that why I should entry at this time, because the last down candles still have the volume is stronger than the first up candle. Even the first up candle has a volume is higher than the moving average 20 periods, but it's still smaller than the last down candle. And so let's see on this example. I jump into the 4 hours time frame to check detail about these two candles. And so here is a 4-hour time frame, and on example is a daily time frame. What we have in this example, you also see that at this time we have the strong Pinbar candle created by this very strong volume, And if you compare detail in the 4 hours, you see that now the volume, the up movement is stronger than the down movement if you compare with some of the volume before. And totally what we have in these pictures, the first one we have here structure is a higher high and higher low. It means that's up movement. And we also have that here is a demand zone, strong demand zone created by the strong pin bar candles. Pin bar candle have a high volume, is very beautiful. And when supply comes into this demand zone, creates engulfing patterns. And when you check detail about this engulfing pattern, you see that on this pattern, the buying pressure almost covers selling pressure. Therefore, that is a good entry. And after this engulfing pattern, you see that the markets go very far and like verticals, very strong. That you can see how the pin bar candle strong in the market, and after multiple zoo and engulfing pattern support by volume is important in the markets to trading and investing. So let's jump on to the second example on the Apple stock monthly chart on the 2011. When you see on the piece of chart like this, what you can see is very obviously we have the strong pin bar candles with the high volume than the moving average 20 periods. And you also see that now the trend of the market is up movement, because now is a continuous up candles and creates a higher high and higher low. And what you can see that on this market, after the first strong pin bar candles, market go very far, and at this time you also see we also have this pin bar candle at this time. But if you check detail about this pin bar candles, you can see that at this time the volume is quite low than the moving average periods. If you compare with the first pin bar candles, because we have two methods to compare the volume. The first one you compare with the moving average 20 periods, and the second one compare with the candle have the same size and compare the volume. And if you use the second method, you see that two pin bar candle is the same size, and the volume of the second candle is smaller than the first candles, and also smaller than the moving average 20 periods. So here is a weak pin bar candle. So let's see what happens after the second pin bar candles. You see that the markets already go just several percent and go down very sharply. That is totally different between two types of candles, strong and the weak pin bar candles. After strong pin bar candles, market go very far, and after weak pin bar candles, market go just a little bit and go down immediately. That is why you need to looking for the strong pin bar candle to entry in the market. And on the down movement, also same theory. To save the time, I just give you example about the up example, and to measure how many percent the strong pin bar candle already go. You see that after the strong pin bar candles, the market go 140% for the strong pin bar candles. But after the second pin bar candles or the weak pin bar candles, market just go 60% and go down 40%. If you entry with the first pin bar candles, you can have a very beautiful profit. But if you entry with these candles not supported by volumes, you will lose might be 24% after the long-term periods investing. That is totally different. And you can see after the markets go down 45-40%, the market jump into some of the demand zone in the market, go up very strongly, have no any support by the weak pin bar candle like this. That is the difference we need to looking for in the markets. That's also all about my lesson today. Thank you and see you next lesson.